So I started off with using a Smashbox primer on her face. It's like tanning, it's a luminizing primer, and I just applied it all over her face and like rubbed it in everywhere. And it's a really nice primer, I like it. So this is a Shiseido foundation that she already had. It's actually a shade too light for Risha's skin, but yeah, it wasn't going on too well because she doesn't exfoliate, which she needs to start doing. So I just applied it all over with my hands because I feel like it blends better, and I just really try to blend it in all over her face and got every single part of her face except for the tops of her eyelids because it would crease if you put foundation on the top of your eyelids. The next thing I started using was a concealer. So this is a MAC concealer, and I put it in the triangles of her eye because it works as a highlightation, also covering the under eyes, like the under eye bags, so that the darkness. And yeah, so it's just in a triangle, and then you rub it. I rubbed it in with my fingers. As I said before, it blends better, and I just applied that right there. So the next thing I'm using is by Lise Watier. It is a correcting palette for light skin. So the blue that I'm placing on right now helps cover redness. So I put it on all over her acne, which she had a lot of. So it's just like a bluish color, and then I blended it in with my fingers and just rubbed it in very well to just blend in with the rest of her skin tone. The next thing I'm using here is actually from the Lise Watier palette as well. It's just the neutral color, so it's like the lighter beige to help conceal the acne and help make it more one tone for the blue because it's a little bit dispigmented. So it just helps blend it all in better and making her skin tone more even and covering her actual acne as best as I possibly could. And it's very high coverage. Unlike the concealer I put under her eyes, it's not as much coverage. I also put it in the corners of her lips and beside her nose because you get a lot of redness there, so that help conceals that as well. Next thing I'm doing is contouring her cheekbones. So I did that with a darker shade. It's a little bit too dark. You can just apply it right under the cheekbones and then you blend it in. And of course I blended it in with my fingers. And then I did it on her nose to help straighten out your nose. Because when you this is called contouring, and when you contour your nose, it helps it give a better, straighter shape. So this is a Stay Don't Stray by Benefit. I put it on top of her eyelids to help the eyeshadow stay. It's a eyeshadow primer. It just sets the eyeshadow so it doesn't crease. This is High Beam by Benefit as well. It's a highlighter, so I put it on the high parts of her face, and so that would be on the top of her nose, the forehead, above her cheeks, and the top of her lips and her chin. And then I just blend that in with my finger in a circular motion and just really blended that in so it gave her like it helps bring out she has very high cheekbones, which help bring those out. So this is a Makeup Forever setting powder. So it's just a translucent powder. It looks white, and I just applied that all over her face with a kabuki brush that it came with. The brush is also by Benefit. The next thing I used is a Yves Saint Laurent bronzer. So I contoured her face as well, exactly where I put the bronzer before, the contouring cream before, just under her cheekbones. And that's the powder. I did her nose as well, again with the powder. And then I just go from the sides of her face and under her neck just to give her an overall glow. The next thing I'm using is a Marilyn Monroe blush. It's more of a corally color, and I just put it on her cheekbones. You start from her pupil of her eye and go backwards. And then I took a big brush and blended them all together, the bronzer and the blush, so they looked. So this is a Naked palette by, it's called the Basics, and I used all the colors in this palette to do her eyes. I did the corners of her eyes to help bring it out, and her eyebrow bone to help it make it look higher. So that makes her eyes look a little bit wider, and that makes it look higher, what I'm doing there. Next thing I use, it's a very nude color. It's actually the second color in the palette, just all over her eyelid. This helps make the creasing of her eyelid look darker and giving her more of a shape and definition. This was the third or fourth color in the palette to really, and then I used one shade darker to help it really stand out. And then I went back there with a brown, which is done right here, to just give it more definition and more depth to it and make it just look, it's the very last color, it's very, very dark. You use very little bit, making a V on the actual eye and blend it in. Then I put a red in the corners of her eye to help make her eyes look whiter. Then I put eyeliner on her eyes because I enjoy eyeliner and it helps make your eyes stand out better, I find, and makes your eyelashes look fuller and more volume. Then I put on mascara. It is, I believe, Maybelline. It's a falsies mascara. It's just a very, very nice mascara. It's not waterproof or anything. So I just applied a few coats, about 2 or 3 coats to each eye, and just to help bring out her eyelashes. That was the overall look. This is a setting spray by Makeup Forever. You're supposed to put this on after, before you do your eyeliner and your mascara, so you don't get the problem that she has right there, where the mascara and the eyeliner goes on the bottom of your eyes. And then I just put on a pinky red lipstick to help finish off the look. And this is what it ended up with.